Heaven High. I'm Tangie Ambrose, and welcome to Heaven High. Katie
Hi,
Marie,
good morning.
we did it! Yay!
We're back on.
Girl, 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 girl. Thank you. This has been
Thank
a
you.
journey. So I'm going to start off saying thank you for being my first guest on my show. I know you're not actually the first guest, but you're gonna be the first guest
Uh,
because
oh gosh, the pressure.
the pressure. Okay, so let me tell you, Katie is my cybersis. We have never officially met in person, but our souls have connected, and she is my sister. So it's perfect for her to be the first guest on my show, and she's blessed me in so many ways. Even when I decided to do the podcast, I wanted to speak to people who had had near death experiences. And it's hard finding people who have had near death experiences like the type that I'm talking about. I did have some people tell me I had a near death experience. Somebody held a gun to my head, and I said, "No, don't shoot me, man. I got a mask on. I don't know who you are." That's not the type I was talking about. So I said, those of you who know me know that I'm like a lot of energy, but you don't necessarily know unless you're paying very close attention what that energy is riding on. So I decided to do a podcast because I wanted to share that side of me, and I wanted to speak to people who have had near death experiences. And hunting for the guests was frustrating. And finally, I just said, I give up. So I reached out to my sister here and I said, Katie, I'm doing this podcast and I was talking to people who had near death experiences, but I gave up on that. Would you be interested in coming in? Because she's wonderful and spiritual. And this is her cup, by the way, which I love. Everything aligns. Mm. And you messaged me back and said, sure, I'll come on. I don't mind talking about my near death experience. And I was like, and that was another way that God has kept me on my path. My angels keep me in alignment because I had another guest. And then I had you. So, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. It's beautiful out today. We have no rain. It's been raining.
We have no rain. No rain. But the good thing about the rain is it makes us appreciate the sunshine a little bit
It
more.
does, and it makes everything so green. It's been beautiful out. I love the greenery.
It's been beautiful out. It's been beautiful out. So, Miss Katie, let's get right down to it, girl.
Let's do
You
it.
ready?
Yes.
When did you have your near death experience?
This was a little over 20 years ago, actually. I was 19 at the time, so it was a while ago. But did you want me to go into it? And want me
Well, what happened?
to...
What
What happened
happened? Tell
was
me what happened.
I was
What
actually
happened?
driving home late one night from work. It was I used to work in the restaurant business, so you get out late. And it was raining out, and I was going 65 and I hit a tree going 65. I hit a tree. So at that time it was pretty impactful. Um, and the next thing I remember was looking down on myself at an ambulance. Then I was inside this ambulance and they were,
Pause. We got to pause. We got to pause
okay,
because this is my first episode and everybody here is not familiar with near death experiences. So some
okay.
of them are like, what? She was looking down. You were looking down at yourself.
Yes, I had left my body. I wasn't there. Clearly, I was looking down on myself and watching this mess of police cars and ambulance. I saw all the lights. You know, and I was in the ambulance and they were cutting my clothes off me because they were getting ready to jump me, to use the paddles, you know? So,
Now,
after,
while you were looking down and seeing that, could you feel what they were doing, or
no,
was
I
it?
was just like, what's I wasn't even questioning. I was just looking down. You don't even realize that I didn't realize there was a question to ask. I was just,
I got
okay,
you.
observing,
It was.
observing what was taking place.
I got you. Okay. 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 They were getting ready to do the paddles, and
Yeah.
then what happened?
And then the next thing I remember was I was in the hospital. So I was in the hospital room and there was a white sheet. I'm looking through the white sheet and I see them working on me again to jump me, to bring me back. So I had
So wait a minute. So now you're in your body, looking through the sheet that's
no,
on
no,
top of
I'm
you.
still, I guess what they had told me was they had brought me back and I had flatlined again. So they had lost me again. And the second time they were bringing me back.
Oh.
So I don't know what happened in between,
Oh, you jumped out and was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
I
I guess
got
they had got a heartbeat in the ambulance, and the second time around they lost me again. So I was watching
you."
behind the screen, and I don't realize what's happening. So all I remember are these parts of that experience, you know. So I'm not sure what happened in between or the time frame, but I do remember it was 3 in the morning because that's when my parents got a phone call from the chaplain, actually from church, from not church, from at the chaplain at the hospital, and they had called my parents to wake
Yes.
them up. And my dad told me he was screaming at them on the phone to tell them if I was alive or dead, and he wouldn't tell them.
Oh.
And he told them they had to come quick, so they had raced down to the hospital. I know. Imagine that. Imagine your parents.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh
I
my
feel that.
gosh. Just imagining your parents, yeah, driving and not knowing. And they couldn't tell because they didn't know because you kept coming back.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. Yeah. So it was just a
Wow.
mystery of if I'd make it through. And I had severed my liver, broken my ribs. I had multiple abrasions all over me. My teeth were knocked out, smashed in. It was, uh, it was a disaster. So I was just in limbo there for a while. And the next thing I remember was, my aunt, the tunnel, there was this tunnel and this bright light, and my aunt was carrying me out of the light. And my aunt has passed, so my aunt had passed away. She was very close to me. I was very connected to her, and I lost her when I was about 15. And she was carrying me out of this light, and she put me on this bench. There was this bench there, and my grandfather was standing behind her also, next to her. And she was holding me, and just I guess I wasn't aware. I guess you're not aware over there, but it was just this moment that I was having. And
Mm.
I remember vividly what my grandfather was wearing, and I was very close to my grandfather also. He's wearing this blue suit, this red tie, exactly what he was buried in, so it was bringing all that back. But at that moment, they were also telling me that I had to smile. I guess on the other side, my mother told me that my blood pressure had been dropping again. It was at 14 beats a minute. So they had gathered around to say goodbye to me. They were waiting to say goodbye to me. And, I know, I'm feeling the emotion. And my dad, my grandfather and my aunt told me to smile. They were just like, you have to smile big. You have to smile big to let them know you're all right. And I didn't know exactly what that meant, but as soon as they said that, I remember feeling my face again. I remember feeling the smile on my face. I remember just, being in that moment, laying there in my bed, the hospital bed, and smiling big, and my parents appearing. I was back in my body, and I had come to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
So that was,
That is
yeah.
absolutely
And it's touch and go
amazing.
between there and when I was released from the hospital finally. I just remember a couple days later being able to finally shower. My mom took me into the shower and took care of me, and I remember her sitting on the hospital bed, and she repeats to me, "You saw Aunt Chrissy. You saw you saw your grandpa. And I said, how do you know that? And she said, I had a dream 2 weeks ago that they were there with you, that this happened. And I said, and at that time, my mom couldn't warn me. I was a kid. I was doing my own thing. I was, living my life at
Right.
19, what a 19-year-old
Right.
does. And there was no warning signs for me, except I reversed that actually. I did have warning signs, but I didn't know what they were about. I started to have these spiritual experiences, and I would come home from work, and I remember sitting down and looking up at this painting that I had painted one night, and I remember seeing a face appear. And this is like the second time I've said this to people, but it was the face of Jesus. And I remember going, what is that? And just coming home and being like weirded out and going to bed. Like, okay, forget it. No TV tonight. I'm just going to bed. And
Wow.
it happened a few times. And then another night, my brother was at my house, and out of nowhere, he passes out. And I'm like, Joey, I just jump on him. I'm like, Joey, what's wrong? Where's Joey? And I'm smacking his face to bring him back as he's completely out. And he reaches up and he grabs me and he goes, the angels, they're all around you. He goes, they're all around you. He goes, don't take them for granted. They're watching you. And then he falls back down to the ground and just comes back to. And I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? And I'm smacking him, getting him back. And he has no recognition of it, no memory of it, has no clue what happened. It was just this divine weird
Wow.
experience. And it was just like, okay, shake
Wow.
that off. Still no clue what was coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
The angels are watching you. Don't take them for granted.
Yeah. It was so surreal.
Wow. But it worked, whatever it is, because now you're in alignment,
Yes.
with what you're doing. But how long did it take you to go from the angels are watching you to your near death experience where you came home to get to this point? Like, how was that journey?
I believe my time frame with it was probably a month or so, maybe less before the accident happened, that experience with my brother happened. And after I had come to with all of this, I remember getting flooded with my spiritual, lots of spirits were coming to me. And I was
This is
very,
after your near death. Ooh,
yes,
was that scary?
oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, it was terrifying. And thank God I had my mom, but my mom still wasn't out of the spiritual closet then. I didn't know why she understood why these spirits were there and how to handle them. She's like, you just have to, tell them to leave you alone, if you're not ready to talk to them. And I was like, what do you mean talk to them? I don't want anything to do with them. They were lining up outside my bedroom door wanting to talk to me. I'd wake up and there'd be a spirit next to me, and I'd just be like, what is this? And I just, go back under my covers really. And it was kind of, it was, scary in a sense. And it was literally around it was literally around the time A Sixth Sense came out. And it was kind of felt like that. Like, what
Oh,
is this?
yeah, yes,
Remember that
yes.
movie? Yeah.
I love Sixth Sense. That's one of my favorite movies. I
I do
watched that
too.
one over and over. Yeah. When spirits come to me, I don't usually see them. If I see them, they're making me see them. Like, and I will call it a vision as
Third
opposed to a
eye.
visit. Yes.
Yes.
But usually when they're around, I feel them.
Yeah.
So when they make themselves present where I can see them, they're usually like I can see through them, but I can see them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it
Yes.
feels really good. How do the spirits come to you when they come?
The same
Like,
way
are
as
they
you, with the images like that, and they're very clear. But I also get images in my photos. When I take photos, sometimes there's also entities that appear, images, outlines of bodies or orbs. Uh,
yeah, I get orbs a lot. Like,
I love that.
yeah. One time I took a picture with this lady and I had an orb on me, a really big orb on me. And she had like a whoosh around her head. A whoosh. Like it was scary, but it might not have been scary, but it was scary to me. Because it wasn't like an orb, it was like a.
You were probably being protected.
That's what I felt.
I'm serious. Yeah,
That's
now that I,
exactly
yeah,
what I felt. And I'll
definitely.
show you the picture of the lady. If I ain't have to show the lady's face, maybe I'll show you one day. You know. Whew. Okay, so anyway, back to you. Whew. So did you start helping these spirits? Did you open shop and help
No,
them out, or did you? No.
I shut down. I really did. I
You
shut
should.
down, and I honestly went through a severe depression for about 15 years, a long depression after this, because I didn't understand
Wow.
why they sent me back. I was like, why would you send me back when it was so gorgeous over there? I was so angry for so long. Like I was like, oh great, you gave me the ability to talk to you, but I don't want that. I want to be there. It was, you know, going through those younger years in your life, you're sometimes you can be confused, and it's hard. It's hard putting life together.
Yeah.
And I was just, the feeling that you get there is so unconditional love. There are no worries. There are no thoughts of anything but bliss. And I couldn't believe that I couldn't stay there. But and what happened at 15 years later, I got to a point where I was out with my mom one day, and it was just such a pivotal moment in my life, this moment. And I all of a sudden, when I later in my 20s, I started having seizures. And I don't have them anymore, but I take them as a sign of, God trying to communicate with me, to tell me something.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
Yes.
I was out with picking, at the florist with my mother. We were getting our flowers to plant, and I just started feeling weird, and I had a seizure out with her, and I remember looking down on me, and I was watching my mom frantic with me laying there, and I had seen I cracked my head open. I saw everything that was going on. And when you have seizures like this, you're actually in limbo with heaven and earth. And this time I got a choice. They gave me a choice. They said, "You want to go? You can come." And in that moment, I looked down and I saw my mom, and I said, "No." I said, "I'm needed here. There's a purpose for me." I didn't know that I had value in my life. I didn't know the value. And I saw that value in that moment where my mother needed me. My niece needed me. I started to see all these people that my family needed me. And if I were to go, that would alter them. And I was just like, no, I want to stay. I want to stay. So the next thing I remember, I was waking up in the hospital, and they were putting staples in my head. And it's funny, there are 11 staples. So angel number 11, it has the meaning in that, the
Wow.
synchronicity. And I just remember being so grateful I was back. And I had never felt that joy of being alive. And I felt alive. And I just knew from that day forward, I would take the steps to embrace life and be here and find that meaning and purpose. It was beautiful.
Wow. Ah. Ah. All of that. That absolutely beautiful. It blew me away. Wow.
We have these tiny miracles in life, and that was a big one, I would say. But there's tiny miracles all around us. No matter how, no matter if you look at flowers that bloom, they're all miracles.
They're all miracles. I wonder how um how we can get people who don't see that to see that without a near death experience, or if it's even something that's supposed to happen, because I had one lady tell me that her journey was really tough, but she's so grateful for it.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
yeah, even like after we've gone through the hard times and after we found the blessing in the hard times, then we wouldn't change a thing.
Not at all.
So, my intention is to kind of help people as they're going through the hard times know that there's a blessing in it. And there's so much going on in the world right now where people need that feeling. Like you said, I was happy to be alive.
Yeah.
You know, I often think, well, a lot of people think of life as like a roller coaster ride. And
Yeah.
whether you're
Oh, it
balled
is.
up and scared or whether you got your hands out, you're on the ride and it's fun.
Yeah.
Ah, after so after your second near death experience, which I'm gonna call it because you bust your head open
Yeah.
and you got out your body and you was looking down. Um, what else changed with that joy? Did you get any, like you got gifts after the first near death experience, which I wonder if they were already there, you just weren't attuned to them. I
Oh, I'm
wonder.
sure. And that's the other thing. When I was younger, I was at 15, I was attuned to Reiki 1, my first Reiki session. So I was experienced to I was shown something's energy at a young age. And I remember sitting in that class and a guy turned to me and he said, "Are you psychic?" And at that time I didn't know. And he goes, "You have this beautiful light around you, this white light." He goes, "You have to be psychic." And I had no clue. I had no clue. But I just remember thinking of that from time to time, but not really applying it. I didn't know how to apply that. So I just let that
Yeah.
pass and, everything unfolds as it is.
Well, your Reiki today is amazing. I
Thank
don't even know, she did Reiki on me, and I don't even know how to describe it. We weren't even in the same room. And years ago, when I was on In Plain Sight, I went to this place in New Mexico, and the guy did Reiki, and I was thinking, and I was in the room with him, and I was thinking, mm, okie dokie dokie. But yours, and we weren't in the same room, was amazing. What I saw, the visions that I had, and what you wrote down. Y'all, by the time this airs, you will probably already know I wrote a book, and it's called A Branch with No Leaves. And I had written the book, and I had not let Katie read it yet. And she did some Reiki on me, and she was flooded with these thoughts that I don't know if they made sense to you or not. I don't think they did. She wrote them down. It's like this and this and this and this. But then when she read the book, it all made sense.
It
Do you
did.
remember that?
Yes, I do.
It all made sense. So I'm excited about all of that. So
Me too.
now, what are you doing with your life? How are you blessing people?
Yes, I have my site, my Instagram page, and I built an Instagram page. Again, I went through a period where I had to take 9 months off because I got sick with Lyme disease, and during this process of Lyme, I was really debilitated. I was in a horrible place of trying to recover, and and I just remember feeling what is going on, but I knew that at the end of the tunnel it was going to be okay. I knew that everything aligned. So I
Everything
always had that in my
aligned.
head. I never didn't have that in my head, but I had my regular Instagram page and my friends, I started getting really into the healing, and my friends didn't like all the posts that I was posting. So a couple of them unfollowed. I was like, whatever. So I was like, maybe it is a little weird for them, so I'll just branch out. And I started this Everything Aligns. I just thought, let me put this in, see if it's available. And sure enough, it was. And I never thought of the page growing. I didn't have that intention at all. I just used Instagram as a Pinterest. I would pin things that were something I needed to hear and motivational and just to uplift myself. And that's how I use it
Yeah,
today. I post things that help me, that aid in what I need in my growth at that moment, and I feel other people may need also. So, and then the
yeah,
page just kept growing for some reason. It just kept going. And then I realized it got to a point where it was so big, I had to finally step into my own power and launch this website. And I started my Reiki with clients, and my mother joined. I have my mother on the team, so she's the medium, and I have a couple other people for astrology, and it just kind of came together.
wow.
I stepped into
Wow,
my
that's
power, I
beautiful.
guess.
You stepped into your power, and is it comfortable?
Is it comfortable? No. It is, it's funny when I do Reiki, it's amazing because I'm comfortable with it. I know divinity. And that's the thing after I came out of this seizure and decided to stay, I said I had to find something that made me feel at home, like at the other side. And I knew that meditation and Reiki gave me that feeling, that security, that love, that peace. So when I work on clients and myself even, it brings me home. So I just love being in that moment of healing with people and myself even.
Wow, that's beautiful. It brings me home. What is Lyme disease?
Oh, Lyme disease is, so you get bitten by a tick, and some ticks carry Lyme disease and parasites even. I caught a parasite from the tick, but I didn't realize I had this for 10 years, and there was a slow decline in my health. Oh yeah, I didn't know, and I believe that also could have triggered the seizures even because some of these ticks do that, depending on what level of every tick carries something different. So not all ticks carry it, but I was bit. So the slow decline in my health was just unbelievable also. And I didn't know I was sick. And you're brought up to just mind over matter, mind over matter. And I wasn't getting old. I was in my later 30s. And I started to go, am I getting older? Is this what happens to your joints and your body and your mind? Because I just felt my mind was not all there. I just was really, it wasn't in a good place. And my joints hurt so bad. I got to a point where washing my hair in the shower, I had to sit down and I would be too tired to lift my arms to rinse the soap out even. And even brush my
Wow.
teeth. I remember sitting on the couch for 3 days and not moving, going, I have to get help. I need help. And I finally had another divine intervention where I was at my parents' house and they had they had a couple trees cut down, and the tree guy, he's our tree guy, and he mentioned to my mother that his wife wasn't doing too well, and my mom actually mentioned that I wasn't doing too well and explained this, and he spoke up and said my wife was going through this and the same symptoms. And he says, and turns out she has Lyme disease. And he gave me the number to this doctor. And sure enough, I went and I had it. And it took me 9 months to get my feet off the ground again. It was just sitting in treatment
Wow.
was in it. And I eventually, now I'm in remission and I take care of myself 100%. It's, you got to take care of yourself to be optimal.
Couple
But
of things that I heard.
it's something other people need to be aware of though, because depression stems from something, and gut health, if Lyme disease will destroy your gut health. And if your immune system's not strong enough to fight things, this can really bring you down. And, I feel so bad for people who go through, see a psychiatrist, but what they're really fighting is maybe a disease, maybe an illness that they need to battle to build their gut health up and strengthen it. So I really hope people are aware of other factors that can create symptoms of mental illness, because I was feeling that.
Mm, that's really good because what I was gonna say is what I heard from you is if a lot of times, like you say, we're taught if we feel a little something, girl, get up. You ain't
Yes.
sick. Get
Yeah.
up. And nothing wrong with
Yep.
you. Go drink some water. If you have some water today, you need to go to the bathroom. You need a good meal.
Right.
When you sick. And
Yep.
so we really and even with my mother, I think about because my mother was really healthy, but she passed from bone cancer.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
her back started hurting and she kept saying, Tangie, my body's trying to tell me something. And we go to the doctor and they say, oh, you 72, it was bound to happen. You just getting older. We go back, it's probably arthritis. We go back, you need to stretch, you need therapy. We went probably a minimum of 20 times without exaggerating, and they gave different things. They eventually said it's your kidneys, but it wasn't her kidneys. The bone cancer was now starting to affect stuff,
Oh my
but it wasn't
gosh.
until she couldn't stand up that they did the MRI. She couldn't stand up because of her back, and they did the MRI and found out that she had multiple myeloma.
Oh my
But
gosh.
So she did. We did. We kept, knocking, 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 and the doctors were like, "Eh." But still, I think people, if you feel like something is
Hmm.
off, check it out. Check
Yeah.
it out. Check it out. Keep knocking, knocking, knocking. And then the other gift that I heard in your story is, even if it is destined, it's a blessing in it, because that led you to your greatness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
forced
It
me to
blessed
take care of
you.
myself. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. It forced you to take care of yourself. And it's also getting you right now to help other people stop and take notice when something is going on.
Yeah.
Because who would have thought that mental illness can be affected by your gut?
Right. Right. Serotonin's made in the gut, and if it's not up to speed, you're going to start feeling that.
You're going to start feeling
You're
that.
going to start losing the lack of sleep. You're going to start, you're not aligned.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something now. You got me thinking, because ever since COVID, it I feel like, well, not since COVID, since I got that shot,
Oh,
and
oh,
I didn't want to get it, but I had
oh,
to get it because I'm a single mom and I got to work and I couldn't work without it. But ever since I got it, I'm whispering, y'all. Ever
I,
since it's a like I feel like it's mucus inside me.
oh,
You know what I
the
mean?
mucus.
And mucus, body can't exist in an alkaline environment. Mucus can't exist in an alkaline
Right.
environment. But in an acidic environment,
It
it's
grows.
there.
Yep.
And I eat very well, so I don't understand why I have that. And that's why I drink my tea and I put my cayenne pepper in it, and you know, try to keep it broken up. But if I take some Mucinex, I will really be,
Right. Getting that
you
out.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it makes me feel like I want to go someplace and then they just vacuum me out.
Right. Right.
Can I do that?
No. It's, you know what?
But
It takes time because it took me 5 years to get into remission with the Lyme disease. And I even got pregnant a couple years after I was diagnosed and had to treat myself through that. And I love my baby.
I
And
love my baby too.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But
through
it
the
took five
pregnancy.
years, and it takes time to get to get your body back on track. I mean, how long was it being depleted for? You don't know. How long were you beating it up?
But that's just it. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I was eating raw and drinking water. It wasn't until I got that.
you had something foreign taken. I know. It's
Yes. But it's all right, because I know, like I said with you, how yours worked out. My angels are always looking after me. You might see some of them right here, right
yeah,
now. And so I know that it's all good. It's just me listening right now and saying, like I was thinking today, what foods do I need to eat? Like I cut out. I can eat sweet potatoes, but no potatoes because they bring acid. That sort of thing. You know what I
right. And that's
mean?
what I do. I follow a strict diet to keep the Lyme at bay because certain foods will feed the Lyme, but also to keep my body alkaline. And I don't deviate from that because if I deviate from that, my symptoms come back and it's scary. But even with you,
Mm,
you should do a metal detox, honestly.
a
And you know what
metal
you
detox.
can make what's amazing is you make like a little pesto sauce, and it's cilantro, it's Corella, it's walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and olive oil. Grind that up, mix it up, put it on some vegetables even or some pasta, quinoa, and you will actually feel yourself detoxing the metals. I would have to lay down because I would close my eyes and see everything flooding, like my eye floaters. You would feel it, and then you have to drink a lot of water because you'll start to get dehydrated. But you actually do it for several days, and by the symptoms will start to alleviate after you. And it doesn't last long, so I would eat it at night, and then I'd relax, and it does make you actually relax. So you have a reaction to this because these powerful antioxidants mixed together are attacking the metals to be released.
In the body.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. All those things that you said I need to put in there, I eat. Like this morning for breakfast, even though it's
Yeah.
different. But what is chlorella?
It's a powerful antioxidant. It's just incredibly powerful. It will decalcify your pineal gland. It nourishes you. It just awakens your body
How
on
do
a
you spell?
cellular level.
Ooh, I want some chlorella. How do you spell chlorella?
CHORELLA.
ELLA.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen that before. I just didn't know what it
Yeah.
was.
You'll start to
Metal
feel your
detox.
senses waken again. I mean, not that they're closed down, but if you're having any brain fog,
Oh
help
no.
clear that up. Even the
Really?
spirulina, yeah. Those were
Really?
powerful for me. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Get
Mm.
on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to get your food list too. Not for y'all, for me. I was following Dr. Sabi. Have you ever heard of Dr.
Oh, yes.
Sabi?
He's fantastic. Yes.
Yes. I was following Dr. Sabi's alkaline list, and then I started eating raw. And when I started eating raw, I deviated from the alkaline because I was eating raw. And then I went to South Africa and had a really great time eating
Oh
everything.
my goodness. My mom said she needs to talk to you because she had a very spiritual awakening there. A very spiritual moment. And so she wants to tell you about that because my parents have been there a couple times, the area where you were, and that's
Really?
like their home. They love that place.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to call her when we hang
Yeah.
up.
I was
So,
so happy to see
Cybersis,
that.
it was amazing. And did you see I spread my mother's ashes
Yes, I did. That was beautiful.
in Cape Town? It was absolutely amazing. And the interesting thing about that was I spread them. We did the prayer. We're on the top of Tabletop Mountain in the motherland, the highest. And as I was walking away, I kept feeling like I had to take my shoes off. Tangie, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. And once I took my shoes off, then I kind of felt, why do you think?
Yeah,
Why do you think though?
because you're grounding to earth. Those ions the earth gives out fulfills you. It grounds you. So when I do my Reiki sessions, I am so full of light. My mom will be like, "Go outside because you are flying right now," because it uplifts your vibration so much. So what I do, so when I have to, I'll go outside in the bare feet after a Reiki session, and it brings me back to earth.
Ah,
Yes.
oh, oh, oh.
Pretty
Cause
amazing. Powerful.
that, yeah, yeah. And guess what else while I was gone? When I would tell them my name, I would say I'm Tangie, and the Zulu would say Tengiwe, and the Tengiwe, yeah, Tengiwe, and the Kosi would say Tandiwe, and it means the trusted one or the one who I put my faith. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh, it is. And that's you. That's you. Yeah. Heaven
Oh my
high.
God, like heaven
Yes.
high.
Yes.
Heaven high.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I'm like, did my mother know? You know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
Like,
Did she? That's
I know she
incredible.
did.
That's
And
incredible.
then for me to end up back there spreading her ashes and they're calling me this and I'm there and it was amazing. So, well, I'm happy, Cybersis. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the people before I let you go with my delicious tea in my Everything Aligns cup? Everythingaligns.com. You can get these cups. I promise y'all, they are really, really nice. I
Aren't
really
they
like
great
it. I
mugs?
love that. And I have to tell you, when my brother died, he's like my heart, David. I had gotten home and I was just like, just in a place, and I had this box, and I opened the box up, and out came this cup, and it was like peace just washed over me. Everything aligns. I said, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. It's going to be all right. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Now, is there anything you want to tell the people before?
Just to
Anything you
remember
have.
that everything aligns. Everything all so
Every,
every struggle, every triumph is just part of your journey. It's taking you to the next best thing. So remember that. There's light always in that tunnel.
Light always in that tunnel. Thank you all for joining me today. Thank you, Cybersis, for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Everything aligns. Heaven high. It's going to be a great day. Go make it a great day. And I'll see y'all soon.
See ya. Thank you.